Calumet Editions, an eclectic publisher of fiction, nonfiction, and poetry, introduced a new business model nearly a decade ago, in which the publisher and author work as equal partners in a joint venture. Their stable of authors have won numerous and prestigious prizes across literary forms. Where traditional publishers fail to see the value in projects, Calumet cooperates with his authors in realizing a book's potential.
Welcome to Writer's Corner. Alan with you once again, and we have a return guest, probably one of the most prolific writers, a man who's got 3 books coming out next year, has had 2 books coming out this year. Welcome, Matt Goldman.
Thank you, Alan.
He's got an Emmy. He wrote for television, and he's available to be a DJ or something.
Yeah, my DJing days are over.
Now, you started out in Minnesota.
Yep.
You went to Hollywood. Mm-hmm. You tore it up. You came back.
Yeah, no, I wrote television comedy for 30 years. I started in my mid-20s. And then in 2015, I wrote my first novel. I was still working in television. It was published in 2017. And this is now my 9th novel. Yeah, so very happy in the book world.
Now, you have a very unique and really interesting lead character mm-hmm. in this series.
Yeah.
Which is Nils Shapiro.
Nils Shapiro, yeah.
So tell us about Nils Shapiro.
Nils Shapiro is a private investigator. He was a cadet at the Minneapolis Police Academy. He did not go on to be a police officer. The structure and pecking order in a formal organization like that wasn't for him. And he has made his life as a private investigator, and I have followed him in real time since 2017, when my first book, Gone to Dust, came out. I wrote 4 Nils Shapiro books, and then my publisher asked me to write some standalones, so I did, 4 completely different books. But I bring him back in a few chapters of a book called The Murder Show, and that teases Nils' return. So here he is back again, and he will be back again next year in a new book.
It's really interesting the way you have done that. And you have 3 books coming out with 3 different publishers next year.
Yeah.
That also is unique.
It's unique. It's a bit improbable, but it happened and it's worked out. All the publishers are okay with it. And it's been a little exhausting, so I don't think I'll do it again, but it's going to happen next year.
Nils Shapiro was called by one person who critiqued your novels as the most vulnerable detective character in any. What's the genesis of that?
When I read a lot of private detective fiction, Raymond Chandler, Dashiell Hammett, all the old classics, they were always tough, womanizing, hard-drinking kind of guys, and I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to make him a more emotionally intelligent, at least trying to be emotionally intelligent, product of his generation. So Nils is a more thoughtful, less of a loner type of private detective than those who started out in the genre.
With a very interesting name.
Yeah, he is named. I took something from my personal life, which is I'm Jewish, and it is the Jewish tradition to name someone after a deceased loved one. And my father grew up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and his father befriended a Swedish immigrant named Matt Anderson, not Jewish, but he became like a second father to my father, and he died the day my parents were married, and I'm named after Matt Anderson. I'm named after a Swedish immigrant. And I wanted to do that for Nils. But with a name like Matt, it's not so obvious. So I chose a more Scandinavian name.
Yeah, I just did the same thing with Russian names in the book that I've just finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, to try to make them unique.
Yeah.
And
Those Russian characters have a lot of names.
they certainly do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they just go by Sasha or something like that. But they have 7 names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nils had a very improbable marriage.
He did have he's had 2 improbable marriages. One that ended in divorce and one that ended in sadder circumstances than that.
Now, in that second marriage,
yes,
and we're not talking about the divorce, that's
right,
way back in your writing history.
Yes.
But in the second one, he was married to a police chief.
Yeah, police chief of Minneapolis.
And a woman of color.
And yes, a woman of color. Yeah.
So here we have a private detective who is a Jewish part Swede or whatever, married to a woman of color who happens to be a police chief, and that's certainly an improbable.
Yeah, and she's been in the series the whole time.
Yeah.
And she goes way back to being a police academy cadet her whole career. And she and Nils were friends forever. And then they finally fell in love and got married. Yes.
Now, the murder show, which we haven't displayed here,
right,
is a Nils. It's really a standalone that Nils Shapiro has a part of.
He's in a few chapters.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
the murder show is about a television writer who writes a crime show called The Murder Show.
Yeah, Ethan Harris.
Ethan Harris, and he gets too involved in a real life murder investigation. And as that is happening, he works on the coast, but he's home visiting his parents, and he gets caught up in something, and his parents know Nils's parents. So he consults with Nils for some advice, and that's how Nils comes into the show.
And how does that play in with the police chief?
Well, the chief of police has a complicated situation on her hands, and it involves a local task force that includes the FBI and the Drug Enforcement Agency, and it's a big mess. And how it ties in mostly, at least for Nils, is because his wife is the chief of police, he can't work very much as a private investigator. There's too many conflicts of interest. So he is basically, for the 4 years I was writing standalones, Nils has basically been a stay-at-home dad. So, and then events bring him back into the world of private investigation.
Now, I won't give away the ending of that one because it would spoil the book, but it's certainly worth reading.
Yeah.
And Nils moves from that one, where he only has
he's only in a few chapters,
and
then he's back narrating his own book.
Into dark humor.
Yes.
And dark humor is about?
Dark humor is a little different than my other books. My other books are all mysteries. Dark humor is more of a thriller. We know who did it on page 1, and Nils decides, since the police and other law enforcement agencies have not been able to capture this person despite trying for 2 years, that Nils is going to go out on his own and do it himself. And that adventure takes him to California, to New York, and then to Europe.
Yeah.
So he's in Amsterdam, Munich, and Salzburg.
And he's wearing a lot of disguises.
He has to wear some disguises, which he doesn't like to do.
And sort of around the periphery, which he doesn't like to do either. He likes to be, recognized up front.
Yeah, no, he doesn't like doing it this way, but it's really the only way to do it. There are a few dangerous elements at play. And so he really has to be careful.
and we won't give away the ending of that one either.
Right.
But in cases where the bad guy, quote,
Yes.
the antagonist, gets away and the book ends, is it conceivable that he's going to surface in another volume?
Well, I don't want to talk about it too much because that would give something away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but anything's possible.
Now, how do you work on 2 or 3 books at one time? This is very unusual for you because you're usually 1 book a year man.
Yeah, I don't work on 2 or 3 at a time. I do them 1 at a time. But if I really buckle down, like I tend to in winter because I don't want to go outside, I can write a first draft of a book in 3 months. So I'm used to that kind of writing schedule from television.
It's interesting, from television,
Yeah.
right, where you had to turn out a script or whatever it was weekly.
I think a combination of a Midwestern work ethic and a television writer's work ethic has made me prolific in the novel world. Yeah.
You know, I have found the same thing. Of course, my background is in law, but where I had to be prepared every day in a trial, or really prepared for an appellate argument, and I think it has helped me tremendously as a writer.
Yeah, there are writers who wait for inspiration, and if I did that, I would have far fewer than 9 books out. I treat it as a job, just like you had to do as a lawyer. You may not have felt like writing a brief that day, but you had to. And it's just, I kind of have a no-nonsense approach to it. Yeah.
Of course, the lead character in my series, which I just finished the 4th first draft, is a writer who started out with the Washington Post, and he's now independent.
I know some of those people. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and it involves the government, among other things, and I'm thinking of getting him more involved with the government as a writer in the next one, assuming there is a next one.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
I just think that will be, I think there are writers who have been agents of the government.
I'm sure there are, and
in one way or another, yeah.
I traveled to China just before the pandemic in 2019, and my passport just disappeared. I've never lost my passport before, and I'm like the exact right age to be perceived as a spy, which I am not. And so I would personally never travel to Russia, even though I've been wanting to go there for a long time. I just wouldn't feel safe. Yeah.
Passport is gone, or what?
I got a new one.
Yeah.
It was not easy, but I was able to leave. Yeah. I did not recover my passport.
That's a frightening thing.
Yeah, I didn't lose anything else. I didn't lose my wallet. I didn't lose a penny. I didn't lose anything.
That's interesting, because in my current book, when my lead character is in Russia, he comes back to his room and he sees that he's very precise about where he leaves things. Things have been moved.
Yeah, I think that's quite common. I think I had heard that about China, that they can get in your hotel room if they would like to. I think anybody with a writing background, especially, and of a certain age, would be perceived as a potential threat to security.
I mean, it's getting, countries are so paranoid that it's getting to the point where anybody is perceived to be...
Yeah, tensions are high.
But most of your stuff has been within the United States.
Yeah, all my other books
lately
have been set in the United States, and most of them are set right in Minnesota. Yeah.
Write what you know.
Yeah.
That's, advice to young writers.
Yes.
That's one. Also, don't give up. You know, we had Tracy Clark on the show a few days ago.
She was in town, yeah.
Yeah, and she came in, and Tracy talked about getting rejection slips for 20 years
Yeah.
before she finally hooked up with her first book. And she's had a tremendous, I mean,
Done great.
She's now considered the #1 crime writer in Chicago.
Yeah, she's doing wonderfully.
And it was really a fascinating interview. But one of the things she was talking about is being rejected for 20 years and just keeping going.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest
good for
thing
her.
for a writer to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I was fortunate to not have that experience with my first book, but I had been working as a writer for...
I was going to say,
yeah.
you really had the television background,
Yeah.
and that had to help you so much.
It helped me learn how to write, that's for sure. It didn't help me how to learn how to write prose, but it helped me learn how to write characters and dialogue and create a series and arc relationships and do things like that.
Now you have another book that's coming out in April of 2026.
Yes, I have a
In
book
fact,
called...
it'll be very timely because the show will still be showing.
Oh, good. Yes, that book is called Liar's Creek. It comes out April 21st. It is a new series set in southeast Minnesota in a fictitious town called Riverwood. That's around Chatfield and Preston in that area, down by the Root River. And it starts with a missing person, but the idea of this series is that we'll be focused on a few characters in one book, and then some of the periphery characters who are more in the background will then be the main characters in the next book. And we'll get to know the characters of this town through crime investigations. Yeah.
And it's going to be a series.
Yes.
But who is your protagonist?
Well, because it bounces around, I have different protagonists each time. So I have completed the second book that'll be out in 2027. And in the first book called Liar's Creek, I'm in three people's heads. I'm focused on them. And then those three characters are going to be in the 2027 book, but they are now taking more of a back seat, and I'm in the heads of three new characters. So we get to know the town.
So you're melding them all together,
Yes.
really.
Yeah.
We get to know the town as well as
Yes.
the characters within it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very interesting approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that book to come out.
Now the 27 book is already written?
The 27 book is yes, it's in the, I'm sending it to my editor after the first of the year. I don't want to ruin her holidays. I'm waiting until they're over. So, but in the beginning of January, she will get that book and we will start the editing process.
Now, one of the things we were talking about before the show started is that I get solicitations. Really, I've had probably 24 in the last couple of weeks from people saying, "Oh, we read your book and we came across your name and et cetera, et cetera. We'd like to promote you." And the bottom line is they ask for a donation to promote your book to their book club, which has 3,500 readers.
They're a scam. The only time I replied to one, I said, I charge $1,000 to have my book featured in your book club. I didn't hear back from them.
Yeah. I think that it's sort of writer beware, particularly a young writer.
I would not trust anyone trying to sell you something without a face-to-face sit-down meeting. So I don't, they're all written by AI. They go and they pull quotes from reviews or jacket copy on the book to try to make them sound like they know what they're talking about, but it's all fake.
Now, I have one that allegedly came from a very famous European writer. And I actually have had a correspondence with her back and forth, and it's been fascinating.
Yeah.
Except she slipped up.
Yeah, they
and,
slip up.
She sent me the latest email that she sent me, and I have told this person that I think that you were a scammer. I don't think that you were really this person,
Yeah.
and et cetera. And I got this email to Dear Neil. Well, I'm not Neil.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's just my attitude about the internet in general. I don't believe anything that's on there, whether it's in an
that's
email
probably
or
a good philosophy.
social media. I don't believe any of it. Yeah.
Does AI get involved with you in any way, or do you involve yourself with AI in any way?
I don't use it at all when I write. I don't foresee that I would ever use it when I write. And first of all, I write because I like writing. So I don't see any advantage to ever using it. And I just think that, like with everything in life, shortcuts don't usually work out for the best.
I think writing is very cathartic, at
It
least
is.
for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a lot of joy and satisfaction and I think personal growth out of writing. So why would I want to turn it over to a computer?
It's cheaper than therapy also.
Much cheaper than therapy. Writers and dogs or cats.
Yeah.
Writers and pets. Writing and pets can do a lot for you.
Yeah, I have a dog and named after my own dog who died a year
Yeah.
ago in my latest book.
Oh,
And,
nice.
She's been in several earlier
I
books.
do that in Liar's Creek. I name a dog after a dog who recently passed away.
And, dog people are good people.
Absolutely.
And, I miss her every day.
Yeah, I do too. I miss mine quite a bit.
Yeah. But so tell us about the next one that's coming out this year, the next Nils Shapiro.
Well, that's coming out next year. Dark Humor came out just in December of 2025. Yeah. The book that's coming out next year is Nils gets involved in a regular private investigation case again. So while Dark Humor is a steps to the side of what I've done mostly, it's a thriller, not a mystery. I go back to the mystery genre where Nils has taken on a case where a woman has been accused of murder and it looks like an open and shut case, but they've hired Nils as a...
And how does he get involved in it?
Well, the lawyer that woman has knows Nils. So she suggests bringing him on. And it's kind of a last-ditch attempt to find who else might be responsible for this murder.
You know, as you're reading the newspapers every day, and I read a lot of newspapers every day, my morning, as opposed to Tracy Clark, who gets up at 5:30 in the morning and she writes from 5:30 to 8.
Yeah.
And then she goes to the Chicago Tribune where she's an editor.
Yeah.
Amazingly, I don't know how she does it. And I don't know what you follow.
That's what I did for a few years. When I was still writing television, I would get up very early and work on my books. What's my...
your modus operandi now?
Oh, for how I work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get up as early as I used to, but I will, like today I did. I got up at 4:30. I just woke up. I get up when I get up. It's usually no later than 7. And I just start working. I take a break by walking. I still have one dog. I take her for a walk. And I go by a word count. And sometimes it takes 3 hours to hit that word count. And sometimes it takes 12 hours. So I just do it until it gets done.
What's your daily word count?
Well, it depends on where I am in the book, but between 1,500 and 2,000. And I've had days where I write...
at least 4 pages.
Yeah, probably. I don't think about it that way, but probably, yeah. My books tend to run between 80 and 90,000 words. So, and once in a while I'll get stuck and I won't get that word count done, but I'll get something done that day. But it doesn't happen very often.
See, I write afternoons.
Yeah, everyone has their own time.
And maybe evenings infrequently.
And I know people who write in the middle of the night.
I spend the morning because I try to write on a social issue and turn it into a novel.
Yeah.
And so I will read 3 papers in the morning plus have the Washington Post online. And it takes up the whole morning.
Yeah, it probably does.
But you have to find what you want to write about.
The only right way to do it is the way that works for you. So I say that to aspiring writers all the time.
That's another thing that young writers, and I know we have young writers who watch this program, should know, that these books that tell you you have to do it this way are completely erroneous because you have to do it the way it works for you.
Absolutely. We all work a little differently. Some people outline extensively. Some people, like me, don't outline at all.
Do you outline?
Not at all.
And I don't either.
Not even a little bit.
I use bullet points.
Yeah, I don't even do that. But it's, but there's everything in between. So there's all sorts of ways to do it. And the important thing is doing it. Because it is kind of a butt-in-a-chair job, and you just have to do it till it gets done.
You have to learn to do it your own way.
Yeah.
And you have to be persistent. You can't, as I did when I was younger, you can't take the rejection personally.
No, not at all. You can't take it personally. The list of the most famous authors they all have the files of rejection letters like everybody else. It's just kind of a perseverance game. Yeah.
And then when you arrive, you have arrived.
And then when you arrive, you've arrived. And usually by the time someone likes your work, you are seasoned enough to deliver the next book that they'll like. Yeah.
And do you have any, I see we have 2 minutes left.
All right.
Any thoughts or maybe you want to talk about what's coming out this year?
Well, it's next year for me now. For 2026, I have
2026.
Liars Creek, the new series set in southeast Minnesota. I have a book that is not yet titled, but it's the new Nils book that'll also be out in 2026. And then I have a historical novel called The Prohibited that will also be out in the fall of 2026.
And on the 7th day, he rested.
Yeah, I'm very happy doing what I'm doing, yeah.
No, it's always a pleasure to have you here, especially when you have written so much out of character, 3 books coming out in 1 year.
Yeah. Well, I think you've had me here since my first book, Alan, and I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, but every time is a learning experience.
Yeah.
And that's really at least beneficial for me.
Good.
So,
Good. Glad to hear it.
And as a big fan of your writing, we can add that to it.
Thank you.
So, last thoughts for young writers?
Be kind to yourself. It's hard. Everybody has bad days. Everybody looks at something they thought was going to be great that they wrote yesterday and they hate it. And it's a process. And if you do a little bit every day, it adds up. So just kind of keep at it.
And you also have to be willing to tear up what you did yesterday
Yes,
if you don't
absolutely.
like it.
I had to do it just the other day. That never stops.
Matt Goldman, always a pleasure. Come back soon.
I will.
After your next 3 or 4 books.
Will do. Thank you, Alan, for having me.
Thank you.